Okay, hello, this is Jonathan Green. I'm filming this for FTE 217 Modern Sporting Rifle. This is my week 4 assignment. Today's date is September 28th, 2025. To start, between last week and this week, I did fully complete my AR, so it is done. It is no longer in parts. So that's part of my part 1. I'm going to be working on disassembly as I'm talking about the next few points. We'll talk about part 3. For part 3, explain how to educate a customer and how to spot and avoid ammo-induced malfunctions, and then which AR platform is more prone. So AR-induced malfunctions, how to spot and prevent them is like failure to cycle, failure to feed. It could even be failure to fire if ammunition's underwhelming. Particularly when I'm talking about failure to feed and failure to fire and all that, it's more so with like under pressured ammo or something like that, where the ammo is just not, it doesn't have enough pressure to cycle it like it properly should. The reason that's important and how to avoid it is, one, if there are specific manufacturer recommendations for your firearm, that's the ammo you should go with. It's important because reliability, especially in an AR platform, is huge. So if an AR, if it's not reliable because it keeps failing up or failing to cycle, failure to feed, any of that, then it's not really a reliable platform, right? And that's mainly, again, due to the ammo rather than the firearm itself. A particular instance for this I can think of is when I was younger and first getting into firearms and all that, I had, apologies for that, I had a 22 that was designed to use high-powered, high-pressure rounds, and that was specifically because it was a direct blowback type system for it. So there was obviously no gas system or anything like that. It was literally just a bolt with a spring on the back of it, and that was it. And it was designed that way because a 22 is a very kind of low pressure system, so a gas system is really not needed. But you had to have high velocity rounds with it. And if you didn't shoot high velocity, if you shot subsonic or anything like that, it wouldn't cycle. There was not enough kick behind it to actually drive the piston back. And then which firearm system is more prone to it? I would say probably like the AR-9, which is direct blowback versus gas systems, because of the same reason, where if it doesn't have enough kick or it doesn't have enough pressure on it, it's just not going to cycle. I've had ARs, an AR-15 in particular, that could shoot just about any caliber or any variety of 5.56 that you threw into it, and 223 because it was chambered for 5.56, so it could shoot both. It would shoot just about any variety of 5.56 you would throw into it, regardless if it was high pressure or low pressure, and it worked great. But again, with that demo and that talking point about my particular experience with the 22, it could still cause issues. Moving on to point 4. Should you train your customer in proper stance and form? I believe so, yes, because we talked about this a little bit when we were in the accuracy class earlier this semester, where proper form and stance is huge. Because if you're not providing that proper kind of support to it that it needs. The recoil can be all off. One, the recoil is going to feel a lot worse. Two, if the recoil is worse, then maybe the firearm doesn't function like it's supposed to. So again, that goes into like, okay, failure to cycle, failure to feed, that type of thing. And then part 5, explain the importance of understanding firearm accessory operation before attaching. So this is a big one. I'm in the military, so it's a big one we see a lot, where guys get this new cool attachment they want to throw on their M4, they throw it on and they don't know how to use it. The importance of it is you have to understand what it does and why it does it before you throw it on there, if that makes sense. So like for an M4 particularly, I would see no reason to put an M4 on, or put a bipod, right? I would see no reason to put a bipod on an M4, really. But if it was the DMR, the marksman rifle, okay, yeah, I could see a reason to put a bipod on there. But also, in the same sense, like you don't want to do something accidentally, like if you put like a flashlight or a laser on your rifle, and then you go to shoot, and then okay, now this laser or this flashlight goes off, and you don't know how to, functionality is key. Back to point 2. Since point 1 is again, point 1 is done, we are completely disassembled down to a detailed strip. Point 2, parts you should like lubricate and stuff like that and clean. We'll start with charging handle. Obviously, yes, lubricate it. Clean it, yeah, you can clean it, but typically charging handle won't get too terribly dirty. Maybe on the underside where it's closer to the bolt, but not really. We'll do your buffer spring and weight. Yeah, you definitely want to lubricate these, especially your buffer head, because that's the part that's going to reciprocate inside your buffer tube right here. And you want that to be lubricated so it's not so scrapey and grindy and all that. Your bolt face, or your bolt itself, I would lubricate this and clean it. Lubricate it mainly because it sits inside of the actual carrier group itself, and it actually turns and rotates. So that's a lot of metal on metal, and you want to make sure that it's can move freely like it needs to. Firing pin, you really shouldn't need to lubricate this. I say that in the sense that, I've never seen an issue with not lubricating a bolt or a firing pin, and then your little lock attachment, I would lubricate it, but clean it, just once in a while. You don't really need to clean it. And yeah, that's been my video. Thanks.